situation. I'm at my mom's house this weekend and I forgot my kid books that I literally just talked about this morning that I needed to read. So I solved the problem though, because I am at my childhood library. Now that's a slight lie because actually my childhood library has been demolished, but the monstrosity that I will show you in a second is the new library. And yeah, so I'm gonna see what books they have from the list that I showed in my week 4 vlog. So like right there is where the old library used to be and what is now parking lot. Where the 90s furniture lives to see what VHS is, videos my parents have. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's a 90s TV. The 90s recliner with a 70s blanket, fake fireplace, not 90s bike, I think, 90s couch. 90s painting. I'm pretty sure this is where the DVDs live. Oh yeah, Men in Black. Okay. Dang. Okay, so we have Titanic, which I definitely want to rewatch one of these days. This one, I don't want to watch it. It's gonna make me cry. Loads of 007. Oh my gosh, I love As Good as It Gets and Beaches. I think these actually belong to me. Braveheart, so good. Beethoven movies. Do you guys remember these? Mask of Zorro, my life. Actually, a lot of these are my movies. Puff, oh yeah. Okay. Way too many DVDs. Do you really need this many? Okay, now over here. Why is this Beethoven not with that Beethoven? Problem solved. Oh my gosh, my dance videos. Okay, some definite watches. Family videos. My band competition. Okay, other things. Tower of Terror, taped from TV. I bet that would be good. Miracle in the Woods. I was obsessed with like Hallmark movies. Hey Arnold, I don't think that's mine. The Sextuplets. I was obsessed with like childbirth and multiple births when I was a kid. Also, I was obsessed with angels.
Joining us from Jenison, Michigan, please welcome the Jenison High School Marching Band.
Okay, so I'm watching this. This is the national championships from the one year that I was in marching band because my school was so obsessed with it that it was like a really intense, very toxic situation, in my opinion. More on that some other time, or maybe on Instagram or VOXER. But there are like these guys that are like running around on the field, like judging us. I thought they were just judging from above. I didn't realize that they were actually like walking around while we're trying to do our thing, and they're like meddling, taking notes and such thing. That's so weird. I don't know what we placed, and I don't know if it will say at the end of this video, but I do know that Jennison has won the nationals like a lot of times. Just saying.
The Jennison High School Marching Band is under the direction of Thomas Widener with assistance from Mike Mischowitz and Marty Otto. The Jennison Band was awarded second place in their class at the 1999 Bands of America Grand National Championships and second place in Flight 1 in 1997 and 1999 at the MCBA State Finals. Jennison Band was also named the 1997 Bands of America Toledo Regional Class Champion. Jennison has been named as a Bands of America Grand National finalist twice and is a two-time recipient of the Al Castronova Esprit de Corps Award. Ladies and gentlemen, the Jennison High School Marching Band.
Okay, so it didn't actually say at the end of this video like how we placed, and I honestly don't remember, but it's super creepy to see close-ups of the drum majors, but one in particular, and to see at the end the name of our like band director, because he was actually accused of having sex with one of the drum majors. I basically said that students wouldn't lie about something like that, and that kids needed to be listened to when like adults tell them about good touches and bad touches, and then they report something and nobody believes them, and everyone like goes against this kid. So I wrote a letter to the editor for the newspaper, just basically saying that this kid needed to be trusted. And it turns out that like this director filed no contest or something like that, and ended up still continuing to work for Jennison, writing our shows. Like, he wasn't a director anymore, but he did continue writing for quite some time. Even though the school district technically fired him, he was like a contractor. Like, just super shady situation. Like, kids need to be trusted. Okay, last time I saw my brother, he basically said that he had rewatched our family videos now that he has a kid himself, and thought it was hilarious because in the videos I was basically like vlogging, like before vlogging was invented, and he just thought it was hilarious that even back in the day that I was doing that, he was like, "You're a natural," or something. And so I am about to see this beginning YouTuber content. I was always very athletic. Watch this. My athletic skills in action once again. Oh, oh. The surface is not even. It's not even surface.
Nice job. We took the training wheels off her bike yesterday. How old are you? Okay, so what's the date?
I remember that.
Lisa Frank.
And you did a big smile. Wow, that's a 7-year-old if I ever seen one.
It's like sleeting or hail or I don't know, something in between sleet and hail. It's like frozen ice balls, but they're super tiny. Okay, you guys, it's Saturday. I'm at my parents' house getting ready for work because I'm gonna try and work as much as I can today to help save up for my vacation to Vermont, which is in like a few weeks. So if you have any tips on stuff to do in Vermont, let me know. The vacation's pretty much planned, but just in case. So anyway, I downloaded a whole bunch of audiobooks for while I'm cleaning and stuff at work, but then I decided that my print book for today is going to be the first chapter book I ever read that was not like an easy to read chapter book. So in 2nd grade I read Dawn and the Surfer Ghost, and this, like I said, like this is just more, I don't know what, oh, it's at a 4.7 reading level, so it's just like, you know, just like a regular middle grade sort of book, where it's not like super huge print and stuff like that, and like a pretend chapter book. So anyway, I'm gonna reread this and we will see how it is. Okay, so I have 3 reservations today, and I just opened up and made sure everything was ready for the first 2, and then this is my like main one, I guess. This is like our nicest facility, so I want to make sure that it's super clean and that I'm here when people get here. But anyway, on the way here, I was listening to The Dollhouse Murders by Betty Wren Wright, and I just have a few thoughts so far. So, I want to first talk about 90s things that were present in the book that just like gave me like this little spark of joy. So first of all, the book starts in a mall. Like nobody goes to the mall anymore. I don't even know like the mall by my house. Like I've literally never been there. And like people are like shocked that I've never been to the mall. But like, first of all, I think it's more run down than like one that's closer to my mom's house. And also like I just don't go to the mall. Okay, anyway, so there's the mall. There's also like, oh my gosh, what is it called? Like, a windbreaker. There's talk of that. This girl goes to her aunt's house and her aunt has jeans and a shirt that's tied in a knot on the side. Like, oh my gosh, so amazing. Oh, and then also like latchkey kids. So the book starts basically with this girl, Amy. She's the main character. Her sister, Leanne, something like that. Who has special needs, and which is problematic. They call it brain damage anyway. And then her friend, and they're just all at the mall after school, basically because their mom is at work, so they're just wandering the malls. So that's kind of how the book starts. But basically, our main character, Amy, is responsible for taking care of her sister with special needs. And there's just like so much that is problematic about this book to begin with. And like, I think that the author is gonna be like, yeah, this is a problem. I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, her sister gets into trouble a few times in the mall because she has special needs, and basically a child is taking care of her. So, you know, I mean, a kid with special needs is challenging at times to take care of in a place like a mall anyway, and then you have a child taking care of her. Anyway, and one of the shops, there's an incident, and actually the girl is a badass and handles the incident really well. But when they finally get back to her mom like basically just like rips her apart for the incident even happening, because she should have been paying closer attention to her sister. And it's like, oh my gosh, she is not the parent. Like, it is super problematic for kids to have parenting roles when they're not ready, and to be held to that level of like expectation and stuff like that and responsibility, like no. And also her mom tore her apart without even hearing the amazing way the girl handled the situation. Like I said, she stuck up for her sister and she handled it in a very like professional but badass way, and it was amazing. Anyway, so this girl is like livid that her mom is treating her this way. And the other thing that's problematic is her mom is like, just wait till your dad gets home. Seriously? Oh my gosh. Anyway, so the girl's mad at her mom for this situation, and so she runs off, like as you do, like 4 miles, 3 miles down the road, as you do when you're a little kid, to go to her aunt's house. And her aunt and her mom are not very close at all, but her aunt seems to kind of like her. Her aunt has moved from Chicago, so she also is like just more interesting and all this stuff. She lives basically in her childhood home, which is like just, I picture it as like this huge like Victorian sort of home. Obviously not Victorian for real because it takes place in the United States, but like I feel like we call that time period Victorian anyway. So the girl just like walks into her house because the door's unlocked and she didn't hear the knocking, and her aunt is like upstairs in the attic or something cleaning out like all this stuff because she kind of inherited this house, like whatever. And she uncovers this huge dollhouse, which her aunt is not a fan of because she got it for a 15th birthday present. And she was like why would a 15-year-old like this? And also like it was kind of decorated in a way that didn't acknowledge like that she was a teenager. So like the dollhouse was the actual recreation of their home. Everything was down to like the perfect detail. However, her room was covered in posters, and the creator of the dollhouse, which I think was like her grandma commissioned it to be done or something like that, did not want the posters to be in there. So they made it look like a floofy little girl's room when she was actually a 15-year-old teenager and was not like a girly girl. Anyway, our main character, Amy, is like obsessed with this dollhouse. And even though she's younger, she feels that she will always like miniatures and this dollhouse, even when she's older. So that's kind of where I am right now. Basically, she's just hanging out with her aunt, you know, and her mom probably doesn't know where she is. No one called her mom yet to be like, hey, heads up, your kid walked like 4 miles down the road to my house and I have her right now. Like, there's no phone call yet, but anyway, I feel like I would give my sister-in-law a heads up, like, hey, I have your kid. Okay, so I actually have about 2 hours until the people come to this house, so I am going to legit clean and just get ready for them. I'm trying to save for my Vermont trip, as I said before, so I think that like as much work as I can do during this pay cycle will help out a lot. So yeah, I'm going to clean, and looks like I actually need to. There are crumbs and stuff on the tables, but I'm gonna keep listening to the book. Okay, so luckily the aunt has now swooped in to save the day and basically realizes that it's inappropriate for a 12-year-old to be so responsible for her sibling who, I can't remember if she's younger or older, but she obviously has special needs. And so basically her aunt has come up with the idea that she's gonna say she needs help in her house, and she actually does need help, but mainly it's a way for Amy to have a vacation from her sister. So she's gonna stay with her aunt for like a couple weeks, and then we'll see what happens with the dollhouse. Okay, also, I don't know if it's this book or the 90s in general. There's so freaking much sugar. So already so far, like a hot second into this book, there is mention of Coke and of cookies and of fudge. Like, I'm just getting real hungry, but also I feel like this is not healthy. Oh my gosh. So there were cookies mentioned earlier, and now they're mentioning fudge, but now the aunt is literally saying, now let's have some cookies to go with that fudge, which, like, I'm not food shaming. I'm just saying, like, I feel like this was real life in the 90s, like, sugar, sugar, sugar.
If I'm serving, we both have to be behind the yellow line. But I'm serving to the person who's across from me, diagonal. That person has to be behind the yellow line. But the other person has to stand up at the kitchen. That's what it's called. And then, can we keep walking?
This is my mom trying to explain pickleball to me, and she's making no sense. She's talking
And
about the
then-
kitchen. Like, is there a library?
Like, just say I'm serving.
Okay, so today's movie that I'm watching is Return to Oz. And I literally am going through this video and making a list of all the horrifying things that have happened so far. Like, not necessarily events, but just scary things in this movie. And I'm only halfway through. But here's the list so far. Ninja moves, sharp objects, a straitjacket or straitjacket sort of situation. Girls that show up in mirrors, thunderstorms, evil talking rocks, including a rock king, talking chicken, headless person, also a snoring headless person, which is more terrifying. It says footing children. I don't know what that means. I'll have to go back to that one later. Sinkhole, falling rocks. Oh, that's supposed to say floating children. I think they're whatever, autocorrect or whatever. Falling rocks, fiery furnace, caves, hall of screaming heads, lunch pails that grow on trees, magic dust, permed hair, flying couch, balding heads with fluorescent hair, scary music, a moose head, mirrors just in general. Sometimes people being in mirrors, but also just mirrors in general. Sharp fingernails, keys, snoring, narrow hallways, broken glass, evil princess, talking pumpkin, dust, old houses, scary grown-ups, tangled forest with vines, old pictures, disrepair, statues that used to be people, statues without heads, hence the Hall of Heads, crows, masks, people with wheels for hands and feet, people with scary makeup, dead ends, mysterious keys, threats, a deadly desert. I'm not done yet. Gnome King, robot. I think that's it for now. A chariot should also be added.
Okay, so this area is called the kitchen. Okay, so this person is going to serve first, and they're going to call the score, which right now.
Incidents on the road. And her mother said, because the
Hello. Okay, quick update on how this challenge is going. I feel like I have just been busy doing loads of things and I haven't really checked in recently. So this week of like doing my whole living my best 90s life is going well so far. So over the weekend I finished, what is it called? Return to Oz. And I loved that movie so much, 5 stars. So here's the thing. It had a sense of nostalgia for me. But when I say that, like, I'm not talking about like memories that I have watching that movie as a kid or anything like that. It was just like this, like, I don't know, cozy vibe that I got from it. Despite me not remembering it as a kid, because as I said, there was seriously only that one scene I remember about the lady changing her heads, and when I watched the rest of the movie, like, literally nothing else came back, which was a different story a few weeks ago when I watched the Hug-a-Bunch movie, because even though there was only the one scene I remembered, when I watched the movie, other scenes were triggered also as memories of my past, whatever. So anyway, but yeah, it was just like this cozy, comforting movie without it actually being cozy, because it was horrifying. I made a list of all the scary things that happened in it, and I think I shared that in a previous clip, and there were a few other ones that got added to the list later, and I just got sick of basically telling you all the terrifying things in there, so I stopped. But like, I don't know, I almost feel like it should not be a kids movie, because the majority of kids would be terrified by this movie, except for Anwen. I feel like she could handle it. But it's like, I think maybe the reason that it's comforting and nostalgic is because the main character is a child, but there's so much in there that's terrifying. It's like, apparently the genre is dark fantasy, and yeah, I just loved it so much. So if you are curious about watching something that's weird as crap and also like super terrifying, but not like in like you're jumping out of your seat, but just as in like, what the heck am I watching? Like, this is really weird and this is not normal sort of terrifying. Yeah, you should watch it. Like, it's quality. It also is apparently closer to the Oz books, but I have not read them. I started. Honestly, the whole Oz thing is a trigger for me, because I was living in Illinois for a bit happily and for a bit unhappily, and I kept trying to come back to Michigan, but until you have a job lined up, you can't just up and move home. And it took me a lot of years of trying to get back home until I finally found a good fit position for me, which I have been in almost 4 years, which is like a really long time for me. So anyway, yeah, so I just felt like I couldn't get home, just like Dorothy. Like, I felt like I was stuck in Illinois. It's a whole trigger thing. It's okay. Then, as far as reading has not been super good this week either, but I did finally finish. It took me forever for a kid's book, Dawn and the Surfer Ghost by Anne M. Martin, the author of the Babysitter's Club books. This is a Babysitter's Club mystery. They have like mysteries and then they have super specials, which I was always intimidated by and also loved as a kid because they were so thick and I just felt like so accomplished and so grown up reading them. But this was the first Babysitter's Club book I had ever read. I had read the Karen books before because I just thought it was cool. She had